Today I've got my good friend Jeff with me. Jeff, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jeff Ahern. I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I own Apex Performance, which is a performance training facility specializing in athletic performance. So we work with athletes from, sixth grade up to the Division I level of all sports. And it's a really good time.
What pulled you to the athletes?
Yeah, so I played sports as early as I could and gravitated towards baseball, loved baseball, ended up getting to play at the Division II level, played college baseball. And what made me want to pursue what I'm doing now is I had a strength and conditioning coach going into my senior year of high school that had a huge impact on me, helped me, get a lot stronger, faster, and then went into my senior season where I didn't have any offers, was planning on playing junior college baseball, and then ended the season with five Division II offers. And so I just saw the impact, and I really liked the guy. He was an awesome guy, and he was good at what he did. And so I was like, man, I really wish I would have linked up with him when I was a freshman. Who knows what could have happened. So I just saw the impact after just one short year of working with him. And so I asked him, like, what do I got to do what you do? And he said, well, when you go to college, get your degree in kinesiology. And and the rest is kind of history.
But I just loved what you kind of said, that, hey, there was a leader over my life that impacted me in a tremendous way. And that's really what led you down this journey to help other young athletes get to the next level. I just love that.
Yeah.
It just shows the impact of leadership that someone can have in your life. It really changes the trajectory of your life.
Oh, yeah.
From no offers to 5 offers.
Yeah.
That's wild. Okay, I want to dive in. I want to hear the journey of how you started from a box gym location to launching your own. But first, do you have you've been in this industry a long time. Do you have a funny gym story you can share to get this thing going?
Yeah, so it was my first athlete that I started training. Great kid. He's playing college football now. Awesome kid. His name was Reese. And we would train at 6:30 in the morning before school. And it was very first time training the kid. So, I sat down with him and his dad. We talked. A week later, he comes in for his first session. And like I said, it's 6:30 in the morning. So we all know what you typically do early in the morning, right? You get up, you go to the bathroom. So he comes in and we're squatting. And I'm recording it because, we want to look at his form, kind of talk about some things, and we get up to a heavier weight, and he goes down for the first rep, and then as he pushes, he just rips it. He farts, and I'm just like, I'm trying not to laugh because I'm like, I can't laugh at, this kid, and so I hardly know him. Goes down for his second rep, exact same thing. So then he's embarrassed, he starts to laugh, and got it all on video, and it's funny because we still talk about that when he comes into town. We'll pull up the video, and man, it was hilarious. But I just had to stay kind of locked in because I'm like, I don't really know this kid. I don't know if this is embarrassing for him. I'm sure it was, but that's probably one of the funnier things that's happened.
It's first session.
Yeah, first session.
Yeah, man.
So
that's brutal. Because
as
a trainer, you build relationship and you kind of know okay, how am I going to approach this situation? But when it's the first time, that's brutal, bro. Well, I'm glad it recovered. Now he's playing college football.
Playing college football. He's an awesome kid, super cool kid, and I'll probably be seeing him in a month now. But yeah, man, it was so funny. And the funny thing is that happens more often than I thought it would. I had these young kids, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's good. Maybe they're breathing and bracing properly, and then they're just letting a little bit out. So it's great.
Yeah, man. All right, the stuff you get in the gym. Now, okay. We were talking about this right before we hopped on the video. So every week you're seeing over 100 athletes come into your gym for your services. Yeah. And people see that and they see the number. They think, man, how did you get there? But a lot of people don't understand the sacrifice and really what it took to get you from point A to now the success you're in. So why don't you tell us that journey? Yeah.
So I've been super blessed and fortunate for how fast it's grown. I think growing up in this area helped a lot. But when I started, so I quit the gym, put all my money into my facility.
Go back real quick if you don't mind. Mm-hmm. What do you mean you quit the gym?
So the gym that I worked at, yeah. Okay. So I worked there for about 11 months, and I just felt like it was my time to go. And I had a little bit of money saved, super blessed that my parents said, yeah, you can keep on living at home. Because the plan was I was going to buy a house, and they said, go ahead, put your money into it. You can live here a little bit longer. So they've been, huge in terms of, helping me make this happen. And so I put in my 2 weeks, finished that, and then started looking for a spot. When I quit, I didn't have a spot, didn't really have anything. It took about a month to find a place. Like I said, very small, 500 square feet, about, smaller than this room. And then we just put every single penny into it. And the first thing I did was I just started hitting up coaches that I knew, So I said, hey, this is what I'm doing. I would love to come out and do some free sessions with your team. And I think that is one thing that it's something that you have to do. I try to listen to people that I aspire to be like in this field, and everybody says early on you have to do stuff for free. I think the goal is do stuff for free until you don't have to, and then once you're in a position where you can, like, financially do whatever you want for free, that's the position I'd love to get to. If in 10 years I can do what I do now, but do it for free because the business has grown to a point where I can branch out and, work with this athlete or work with this group and not have to charge, just do it because I love it, that's where I want to get to. But the first thing you got to do is you got to grow it, and that's going to come from just grinding, and maybe you got to do some stuff for free. So I went out, worked with a couple baseball teams, worked with a volleyball team, did it for free, and I just said, hey, like, this is who I am, this is what we're doing. And if you want to train with me, reach out and we'll do it. But so I started in January, and then by the end of February, I think we had 30 athletes in the gym. So it grew very quick, and that's based on just like my connection. So like I said, very fortunate to know some people, and then I believe that the rest has happened through, just kids doing very well, and then also advertising the gym by, being positive about it. Parents have been, great in terms of helping me grow, speaking very highly of the gym, which I appreciate. But, I did stuff for free, and then I also worked every single day, so I didn't say no to anything. It was around 65 or 70 days in a row where Monday through Sunday, it was I had sessions. So if somebody said, yeah, we want to train with you, can you do Sundays? It's the only day that we're available. I said, okay, what time? And it was fun because I was watching it grow, and I knew that what I was doing was making it grow, And so I just said yes to everything, and then by the time summer rolled around, we had enough kids and enough buy-in to where then I could kind of set a schedule. But I haven't stopped saying no to things, and I think that is, I think it's important. I think you need to say yes to a lot of things, and because you're either going to benefit, you're only going to benefit from it, right? You're either going to learn, and it's either going to be positive or negative, but both are going to end up being positive because you're going to learn from it. So yeah, I just tried to do everything I could.
You're working with a wide variety of athletes. You've got kids that are young, that are not even teenagers yet, and then you're working with D1 athletes. How do you lead them and challenge them, but at the same time, like, show empathy or maybe help them along that journey?
With, these 4 years I've been in business, working with around 400, 500 athletes, you start to pick up on personality traits. If you really pay attention, which I do the best I can to pay attention, and I'm okay with not every single kid wanting to be or being like my ideal athlete. My ideal athlete is a kid that comes in and I don't have to tell them to try. They listen. They don't ask too many questions. Questions are fine, but they just want to come in. They want to do the work. They want to do the work that's on their program, and they want to get better. But not every single kid's like that, especially with our younger kids, who most of our middle schoolers, they're there for one of two reasons most of the time. Reason number one, their parents think that it's going to help them, which it will, but that makes it their parents' choice, right? So they want them there because they want them to get faster, stronger, things like that. That's great. It doesn't necessarily create buy-in for the athlete. Reason number two, their friends are there, which also doesn't necessarily create buy-in to the program for the athlete. So the buy-in part is my job, right? Mm-hmm. Some kids are gonna just naturally buy in and do it, but I have to communicate with the kids, especially the younger guys. Like, why are we doing this, Jeff? I'm like, well, it's gonna help you do this. It's gonna make you stronger, so then you can do this. So I just try to over communicate things. And you even get that with like the high school athletes. Sometimes like their parents want them there, and that's why they're there. So I think understanding each kid. Some kids need to be pushed. Like I had one kid, and you can only figure this out by trying both ways. Sometimes you got to pat a kid on the back and tell him it's okay, and sometimes you got to tell a kid like, no, like you need to get to work. You're being soft. So, I mean, I had that with a kid recently who we were front squatting, and he was just having a hard time getting it. And I'm watching him, and I'm like, man, this kid is more than strong enough to do this weight. He's just way too in his head, and he's kind of being a little soft about it. And so I was like, okay, we're going to try this approach. And so I just told him like, hey man, you need to shut off your brain and stop being soft and just squat that. And he said, he didn't say anything because I think it kind of got him fired up. And then he went and did it perfectly. And I said, there you go. So then I learned that kid, right? Now, if he would have shut down, then I'm like, okay, I got to pat this kid on the back more and tell him like, hey, like you can do this. Just trust yourself. I'm not going to put a weight on the bar that you can't do. Get underneath it and you can do it. So I think to be a good coach, you have to understand who you're working with.
Yeah. You just touched on a lot of leadership stuff because, number one, they follow you because you own the gym. You're the owner of Apex Fitness. Number two, they follow you because they like you. You're super relational. The third step is they're following you because of the results you produce. Why don't you go ahead and real quickly and just share, like, you talked about how you tailor your style to the athlete, right? And you know how to get the most out of them. What are some results that have driven your business to a higher level?
Yeah, it's pretty cool seeing what can get done in a short period of time. And that's one thing that I think creates buy-in is helping the kids understand that, like, hey, what you're doing is going to show up next season. Promise you. Give me 6 months, you will not be disappointed. And I tell that to the parents and the kids. But I think one kid I always think about is a basketball player that I worked with early on who just worked so hard, man. He was the best kid, and he was a good athlete. And, he went from not being able to dunk to 4 or 5 months later being able to dunk. And then by the time season rolled around, he was doing windmills and stuff. Now, all of that is great, but what was even more special is just seeing like the person that he turned into. So much more confident. His parents told me that, and that's something I never really thought about because I was just, I was blessed with parents and enough, I guess, success early on to where I was a pretty confident person. So I never even thought about the weight room bringing confidence, which is pretty naive of me because it's like, of course, it's going to bring confidence. You're stronger, you're faster. Why wouldn't you feel better about yourself? So, the results that we've seen with a lot of the kids have been huge. It's given kids the ability to go from, being on the bench to then being a starter. We had a kid last year who the varsity football coach at the school that he goes to hit me up over the summer, and he's like, hey, man, this kid was like going to potentially play JV as a junior, and now we're all arguing about where we're going to put him on the field. Like the linebacker coach wants him to play linebacker. The other coach wants him to play safety. I wanted to play receiver. So like that changed for that kid. Now he loves football. Like he went from being a guy who, was playing multiple sports, wasn't really going to play, and then he put in a bunch of work, and in a short period of time, now he's starting both ways on the football field. And you know what? He's probably a lot more confident too. So, because at the end of the day, the jersey's going to come off, right? So confidence is something you carry into, the workplace, into the classroom, into conversation, onto the field. We're working with all these athletes to help them in their sport, but it's also to develop them into, better people, more confident people. So that's the one thing that I've seen. I mean, everybody gets stronger. Everybody gets faster, they jump higher, they perform better, and they feel better about themselves. And that last part, feeling better about yourself, is probably the most instrumental thing.
That's huge. Yeah. And I think that all leaders need to understand that it can be in the gym, it can be in business, it could be at a car dealership. Yeah. But if the people under you grow in different capacities, in different ways, right? Like, I'm not just stronger as an individual, like physically, but I'm stronger mentally now because I've worked with Jeff. And to me, bro, that's just a testament of your leadership and what you've created. So thanks for what you do, man, and thanks for taking time to come on this podcast.
Yeah. All right, yeah, thank you. It was great. I appreciate it.
Of course, bro. All right, man. We'll do it again soon, and check out Apex Fitness. You can find you on social media?
Yeah, social media, Apex Performance. We will be on Twitter as well, but mostly operating on Instagram. Yeah, Apex Performance.
Awesome, bro. Appreciate you, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, man. See you.
Sweet.